Hello guys, it's Dayton, and today I'm going to be talking about golf. Now, whether you play golf, you don't play golf, you watch golf, or anything similar to that, today's going to be kind of like a little bit of a lesson, and then if you do know a little bit about golf, hopefully you learn a little bit more. I did when I was researching it, so hopefully everyone takes something away from this. So, my purpose, I just want to inform you guys on how to play the sport of golf and how it is actually pretty difficult to start out playing. I started playing a couple of years ago, and yeah, it was definitely a challenge for me, and it's no easy task. So we'll get into that, and then my thesis is golf may seem like a boring pastime to most people, but it's actually really popular among today's population. So this gets into my, so how does it apply to real life? So many people look up to basketball stars, football stars, such as LeBron James or Peyton Manning of that sort. But so I've always kind of looked up to Tiger Woods because he's always just had that mentality that he's the best, and that, I mean, he has his ups and downs, but I mean, he always perseveres and then ends up winning another Masters. So, so when I was a kid, my dad taught me how to play golf. We always went to the driving range together, and so it's always been really important to me, especially since I lost him when I was 13, and so it's always kind of remained like an important part of my life that I like to incorporate into my pastime. And then, so first we're going to dive into the history of golf and where it got its start and how it's turned into what it is now. So, according to a 2018 article by www.liveabout.com, the earliest mention of golf was actually in 1457 by King James in Scotland. He actually, when he mentioned it, it was notarized, so that's the first mention we have of the sport, but it was actually because he wanted to ban said sport because his archers in Scotland were getting distracted from their practice from playing the game of golf. So that was in 1471. It was reissued in 1471, and then again in 1491. So this kind of indicates that maybe Scotland didn't necessarily invent the sport, but maybe have just picked it up since they were already talking about banning it. So the term golf comes from the medieval term kolf, which eventually the Dutch developed into the word golf, and so the Scots took it to the farmlands, started using wooden balls that they acquired from Holland, and eventually it just kind of developed into what kind of golf we see today. So, I mean, golf's older than the country we live in by a significant amount, and it's still a valid form of exercise and entertainment. So next we're going to look into how golf's played today, the parts of the course, and what a real round of golf actually looks like. So, a lot of people may think that golf is just kind of hitting the ball around, which it is, kind of, but in an article by Golf Digest, golf can be pretty uninteresting to beginners or, even intimidating. I know it was intimidating to me because, I mean, it seems rather professional. And so we're going to dig into some terminology. So each course has a par. So say the shortest is a par 3, which means you need to get from the tee box to the cup in 3 strokes or less. If you make it in 3 strokes exactly, that would be considered a par. If you make it in 4 shots, which is 1 over par, it's considered a bogey. And then 5 would be a double bogey, 3 would be a triple bogey, which is about where I tend to stand. Not very good at golf. But then if you get under par, you get into birdies and then eagles, which, like I said, not my expertise. And so this kind of gets into how you accomplish these goals. So, from Titleist.com, I actually researched some of their golf clubs, and so I drew an image of a driver. If you know what a driver looks like, this is a driver, and you hold it like this, like you're about to tee off on the ball down there. I drew on the floor, and bomb it about 300 yards down the fairway. After the driver, you have a mixture of this, slightly smaller, called a hybrid. Looks like this, doesn't hit as far, a little bit more accurate. After that, you have your irons, which is for like mid-range play. Then you have wedges, which are more angled to get underneath the ball for really short range play. And then once you get onto the green, which is where the cup is placed, you have the putters. And so I kind of dived into Titleist.com and got some more information there. And so on top of this, I'd like to get into my last point. golf is just a really physically rewarding sport, So you can get outside, it gives you mental well-being, you can be social, reduces stress on the body, you can get outside, kind of clear your mind, and it always makes me feel better, especially when I'm having a rough day. I just go out on the course and do my thing, So yeah, on top of all that, so let's just go over my main points once again. So it's popular today, it was popular a long time ago. It's more than just hitting the ball. It has great physical effects. There's terminology that you need to learn before getting on the course. And there's just a great culture surrounding it. So while golf may seem boring to some, it's very relevant and very important to me and hopefully everybody else as well. So thank you.